Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft. We are here in the city of Maybe, and not a lot has changed since last time I recorded here. I'll tell you what, progress is a little bit slow in this area, but that's because of the amount of crazy detail that we're all putting into our builds. This is going to be the most gorgeous Minecraft city you have ever seen when it is finished, but it may be some time. Anyway, we're going to crack on with improving our building over here today. Just wanted to mention quickly, these things that I showed in the last episode, they were not actually made by Scouder, they were made by one of Iscal's patrons. I felt quite bad when I learned that because I saw Scouder sharing them with us and didn't realise that they came from someone else. So Iscal's patron, if you're watching, I apologise for miscrediting. That is a fantastic and helpful little thing that we got going on over there. But anyway, let's focus on our building because things have changed once again. We're also going to be adding the name very, very soon. In fact, the title of this video has probably given it away already. But anyway, this front right here is a little bit more detailed than it was last time we checked it out. Can you see what's going on here? There are some bricks that now stick out. Just the one or two occasionally here and there. I've made a bunch of different designs. If we hover over, you can see that they go across these different bricks like that. And so I've gone around and I've just gone, oh, do you know what? You can have one that sticks out there, right? And that's one half of the detailing for the white bricks. I will probably finish doing all of this in a live stream or something like that, you know. The other half that I wanted to do is to go around and do some bricks that go inwards as well. So we can use the draw region feature right here to just go and zap some of that away like that. And then we right click on this block. And I believe the default setting means we can impose it to another one. So this one right here, how about you? Are you now? Yes, look at that, imposed. Right, so that's now got a brick that goes inwards. And we'll do a couple of those here and there. And then it just means the details are there, you know. The building looks a little bit more real. I like it. I'm going to do a lot more of those later. Eventually we'll probably go over all the different block types and sort that out. Yeah, it looks really good from here. Then when you go down below, it becomes more obvious, which I wish it was the other way around, you know, like from down below it'd be less obvious. Anyway, you've probably noticed that there's something different on the interiors here. We spent a lot of time in this live stream just really going through textures and finding some that work together ever so well. And I've actually got some pictures up on my other screen of 1920s shops on the inside, and I've got some real inspiration for what we could do over here. So it took us some time, but this dark oak wood is a gorgeous texture around the outside here. It's now covering all the basalt pillars, and it matches this texture pretty well. So the two of those are going to stay together, and one of the things we're going to do first is build a roof, and I think having a slightly contrasting texture would be a really good idea there. So the plan is to have a like counter on this side over here for the customers. We're going to have a very cool feature in that space over there, and then I was messing around with trying to create display cases, and there's kind of like two ways that we can approach this, right? If we use these curtains right here, the texture looks fantastic. You can open it like that, which I think is seriously cool. Just imagine you're looking in the window and, oh look, Usuma's, you know, changing the display. Unfortunately, you can't stack these up, so you'd have to put black wall above it, and this stuff doesn't look quite as good from the front. I just haven't really figured out how this is going to work, and also when you're standing here, you know, you can't really see what's down there. We need some sort of vertical items to display, and considering that we're selling clay and dyes, I don't really know how to do that yet, but I'm going to scratch my head and figure something out, that's for sure. So we'll come back here and work on it more in the future. I'm going to drop these items off now because I will probably need a little bit more inventory space. Right, so let's go back to my base. Now, the last video hasn't gone out yet. That's just the way I'm recording at the moment. It happens every now and then. Let's go to my place. Yep, that is my place. I have this horrible habit of clicking on the place that I'm at when I try and teleport somewhere. That's just because my brain's in a mess, you know. But last time we worked on the slime power down below. I'm really looking forward to that. I've also noticed Ren is doing slime power as well. And it kind of popped into my head, and I'm anticipating I'll get a lot of comments about this. We could add slimes to our mob farm over here, and then we would be sliming farms that way as well. But I think I want to keep this thing as is for now. Let's turn it on, by the way, because we've got some work to do. This is about to get hectic here, by the way. I should probably put my sounds down a fair bit right now. Yeah, so I want to build a slime farm, a mob one, and I'm going to try and think of an interesting way to do that that doesn't involve mods. Sorry, mods. It doesn't involve using a spawner. I don't know. I can't remember what idea I had. This is a very bad situation. Hang on. Let's turn it off. I need to turn off my magnet right now. Aha, you are what I'm looking for. We never made that obelisk that stops the Enderman teleporting away. So they go in there, they take damage, and they teleport to the caves on the outside, which might just be perfect. Now, I turned that thing on because I was going to fly inside the farm. I was going to fight blazes and risk creepers blowing stuff up. But I think what would be a lot smarter... What is the best way into this place without doing a lot of damage? Yep, probably just coming through the side here like that. And I think that thing has now sucked up my items. Or those blocks, you know, because I want to put them back. Probably the smartest way to do this is to find the Enderman spawner and then temporarily just change this to always on. And then I'll wait here, and we shouldn't run into any issues with other mobs getting aggressive. Now, I need to collect 2 of them. Bam! And now we've got 3. Excellent. And I'll show you why in just a second. Let's get this sorted. So my inventory just got filled up with junk, but one of those things, which isn't technically junk, is a pet bag, and we haven't cranked these open in a while. It's a double chest pet. Now, if it weren't for these backpacks we have in the other mods, that would actually be seriously cool. Remember we had a chest pet earlier in the series? Well, this one... double the chest size. Very cool. I do want to collect all of these, and I do want to make a little room for like displaying them at some point, but that'll have to come later on. So what I'm doing right now, by the way, is making some of these, some ender crystals, because we're going to make dimensional transceivers. It's been a while I've been wanting to do this for, and finally we're able to do it. We've got the right infrastructure in place to craft all of this stuff, and it's going to link our slime power over to here. And then that'll allow us to move it anywhere we like because we've got a dimensional transceiver. We haven't used this before, or sorry, yet in the mod pack, have we? And always, I'm kind of concerned, there's people who might be a little bit new to moddeds, and if you haven't seen this one before, it's a great way to transfer items and to transfer power. So, somewhere around here, what I want to do is just hook it up to our network, and yes, everything is horribly janky and disgusting, but this will be able to move energy and items as well. So we're going to create a receive channel for energy. That's what we're going to do. So this is the slime power channel, and if we put it on receive, then it would receive power, but this is the position where we send it. The other one is set to receive, and oh, look at that, straight away it just starts draining loads of juice, and then it settles around 50 RF per tick. That's interesting because the stuff over at that place might now be using more power from the dimensional transceiver than it is from those other generators. And now it's got into the negative again, but that's because a tree grew, I reckon, and it used a load of juice. And there it is, back to, all right, we're up to around 300 now. So we're producing an excess now that we can, oh, got to watch out for that we can put onto our Quantum Quarry, which has been inactive again for some time because we keep running into issues with power and this thing turning off. But now the network should be really good. Check this thing out over here. So there's the receive channel right there. We can also use it to send and receive items as well. But for now, we're just using it for power. And I cannot remember what I turned this thing to, but it has stockpiled a ton of resources. So I believe up is the energy out. Let's try this at 2080 like that for now. Okay, so that means this thing's going to be whizzing away, right? Yes, there we go. And if we type in something like iron, for example, because we've been auto-smelting this, 2.5k. So it's really starting to work now. Our ores are coming in, they're getting smelted, and things are looking good. Is this thing automatically smelting? No, it's gotten stuck. Every now and then I need to come over here and take that one out of there. Enough base shenanigans for now. Do you know what? Do you know... I hope you die. I really do. If you're watching this video, I hope you die. I hope you die with Asuma's Dies at his dye shop. What? You see what I did? Oh, you know what I did. I'm so goofy. Hope You Die is the name of this shop, and I got so excited about recording I forgot to finish the sign. We need to get rid of some of these little marker blocks that I've added. What would be a good one? Draw region. Let's do that. Yes, so I put in a bunch of marker blocks to kind of figure out the spacing of the letters, and the grid wasn't quite perfect, you know what I mean? So if you look closely, you'll see that the letters are kind of a little bit different from one another here and there, but Hope You Die is the name of the shop. I love it, man, because it's a pun. I don't need to explain it. I don't need to explain it, do I? Dyes is not dyeing. Dyes is dyeing colours and changing the colours of things using dyes. It's, yeah. It's goofy, I know. What I need to do now, though, is copy the lettering onto the opposite side so you can see it from both sides. And we're using wall blocks here. It's really quite easy. You get up close and you just place them on the single bit. Although now, now I'm not sure if I'm going to start doing this at the right height. Kind of seems about there-ish. Let's just put down a few. I'll take my time making sure it's correct. But yes, we're going to basically write the same thing on this side over here, and then copy the entire sign using some of our chisel design things, which aren't in my inventory, around to this side over here. So we're going to have two signs. Let's get that done, and then we can focus on the inside of the building. All I can say right now is yes, 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 yes. Oh my goodness me. Those blocky letters, not good enough. Decided to give it a bit of a, what they call it, a typeface? A font? I don't know. Not very 1920s, but working with the space that I got here. I love it! Hope you die! It looks slightly sinister. And it's all been perfectly aligned as well. I was just double checking that. Yeah, it's all really good. So some of the letters here were like pushed over to the side. But that is looking amazing. Oh my goodness me. Chisel on bits. I'm really starting to get into this mod, you know. And now what we've got to do is the copying process, which might be a little bit tricky. So that is all one block. So are you. So are you. Then that and that. I was worried that perhaps this would be like, you know, a tiny bit of the edge would be in another block, or this would be halfway between two blocks. So we've actually built it all between a full block. So we made our lives easy without even thinking about it. So this is the first one. Hang on, what height are we placing this at? The same ledge or height as that ledge. And now it needs a little bit of rotation. Hold down Shift, do a rotate. Kind of looks like that must have been there then. Hi. Oh, I don't have the blocks in my inventory. Right, so now I've got to go and chisel a load of basalt and whatever that one there is. Actually, I might already have them in a bag now that I think about it. Yes, look at that. We've got a chisel bag there. We've got these two. So hopefully the materials for that are in here. Fingers crossed. Oh, look at that. They are. That's amazing. Look, Iskau approves. He loves it too. Iskau, if you're watching, buddy, I hope you die. At Asuma's shop, of course, not the other thing. Jeez. And now for the very last one. No, it's not the last one. We've also got the bottom of the sign to do as well. This is so much fun, man. I love how this looks. It's so cool. The bottom of the sign is literally just a sliver of this stuff. Bam. And the other one. Bam. There we go. Wow. Alright, I want to fly around here and finish up doing the thing that I showed you earlier with the white blocks. Then we'll check that out. But it's time to go inside. We really need to crack on with the interiors of this building. Well, I could say that all of that's done, but then I'd be lying, because I looked up here and I noticed that there's a little gap. Yes, that kind of makes sense. There's a couple of others in places as well, like over here. I guess all of this will get filled in when we get to the top area, and we are going to have some rooms up here with stuff in them, although I'm not going to go crazy with the detail. Our focus for detail and attention is down here in the bottom, and boy oh boy is this room looking pretty good so far, man. Look at that trim over there. It's looking gorgeous. Now, when it comes to the roof, I've actually got a picture of a 1920 shop and the interior, and the roof has tiling, so it like comes out like this, and there's like a grid, and then it has tiles. So we're going to try and do something similar. However, I think that texture is then going to look awful, so we will need a similar texture, similar color, but that's going to be the idea for the roof. The other thing that we've got to take care of is these bits over here, you see, don't look right with the white popping out. Well, it's going to be quite easy to hide this, because we can go like that, bam, except it needs to be the other colour, I think. Let's try this one on this side. Ah, and that matches the material there, and that looks really cool. That's the way to do it. It also reminds me that you see these tiles that have been attached to the basalt in front of it. They leave a little edge, and I'm not sure if I like that edge or not, but if we go to the connected pane and just fill these in, I think I like that, but it's actually a little bit more boring. This kind of just throws in a bit of a corner feel to it. Yeah, we're going to keep it like that. I think that looks best. Someone's got plans. Someone's up to something. I'll tell you what, seeing what the other people do on this server is really exciting. Down here, by the way, there's this. Ghost Soul Vials going here. What on earth is that about? Anyway, over on this side, there is a deco bench over here. And I filled this thing up. I did this in my live stream. We sort of had a look through this, and I learned something really important, which is that if you use these tabs, they can help you with projects. You see, Iskall has this awesome torture dungeon area, and there's actually a tab for all of these items. I was thinking, how on earth does he know that there's like these skeletons, and they're all grouped up together right here? And we're going to make use of one of these, which is lighting. Now, I've had a look through here. Most of this stuff feels like it's to go on a table, or it's a different kind of theme, but this ceiling fan right here might look good. So we're going to take a couple of those, and we're going to take some of these blocks as well. It's a shame there's not a black one actually. Orange might fit in. I feel like the colours there will probably go against what we're trying to do. So we'll take something neutral like white, so we'll take two of those, and we'll go up to the ceiling, which I'm working on at the moment. So I've got a nice texture here in a bit of a grid, and then it got dark. The sun started to set, and that reminded me that we need to put lighting in this room. So if we were to have something like that up there, I thought that would emit light. I just assumed that it was coming from the light section and it would emit light. I guess it'll be the same fate for this thing, right? And apparently we're not allowed to place it on that. So whatever block goes there, which will probably be glowstone, we should definitely hang some of those in there. We could easily go overboard. So I reckon probably 4 in total will work. I was going to say this is a hard choice, but I think actually it's an easy choice. It would be nice to have that texture up there to tie it into the walls, but really it doesn't belong on the ceiling, does it? And this one over here is what we're going to go with. I do have another curiosity here though, and that is to find out what it looks like when these are turned into half slabs. They will keep the same texture, but they will be indented slightly. That actually doesn't look much better. Surprisingly, I feel like this texture on the side here just doesn't work. Hey, but hang on, this is chisel and bits, right? We gotta continuously think with chisel and bits. So somewhere in my inventory, I should have this stuff. Excellent. Okay, and if we, yep, connected paint, it's already on the right thing. So what if we added in a panel like that? That's probably actually the wrong color. Ooh, I think we can make this work. Or actually, we might just stick with that. I don't know, I'll try a few things, but check this out. I thought that the ceiling fan looks better when it was lower down, so I created this shape, and it isn't quite the right colour to match that, but with that thing sticking down, not so sure. Not so sure if we should have these lowered or not, but if I can find a material that's the same colour of that and give it some detail, then that would be great. So anyway, we'll get this ceiling finished up. I really like how it's looking. This corner hasn't been done though, because we've got a staircase here, a gorgeous little spiral staircase, and I wasn't sure quite how I wanted to work it into this area. I think I'm just going to nudge it over like one more block in this direction. We got a gorgeous front to our building, and now the interiors are starting to look just fantastic. However, this staircase in the corner, nice position for the staircase. It looks so awkward there, and you can see what I've done over here, by the way. Let's walk around it. That feels pretty cool. I've sort of used chisel and bits to put this texture into the wall, right? And it hasn't really worked out that well. So I think what I'm going to do is put it here in the middle. Now we're going to have a counter along here, and there's actually probably plenty of space to have something like that directly behind it. Initially though, I wanted to put it in the corner, so we're going to shuffle things around, and I'm going to finish putting these blocks in the floor and tidying things up here, because I kind of want this room to look a little bit more finished at this point. I'm a big fan of this room, I gotta say. It's gorgeous, but we're about to step into territory which I'm not too comfortable with, because now we got to fill the room up with things. And I'm not too sure what to do, but I thought we would start off with a counter. And I believe this looks a little bit too small in comparison to the rest of the room, right? The problem here is that we probably want to raise it by like half a block, but then we won't be able to put some of these things from DecoCraft on there. So I've got a cash register over here. Bam, and already that's looking a little bit nicer. And a few other things as well. So we could have a lamp on this desk, as you might do. And there isn't a terrible amount of things that are convenient for the desk, but something like this in the room just makes a lot of sense. Where would I put this? Because I've got some plans to put shelves actually over the back here, and then this wall space over here is going to get used up for my big idea. So if anywhere there would probably do. That's kind of alright. I'm not really sure how to do this sort of stuff. I'll need feedback from all of you, that's for sure. What is this one right here then? A coat rack. Okay, so let's put that kind of over here near the entrance, and it doesn't want to go there, and I know exactly why. It's because that is technically taking up part of the block. So that would actually probably look better behind the counter. I was thinking it could be for customers. It's not really a thing to hang up your coat when you go into a shop, but someone working there definitely would. So we'll probably play around with putting these in all sorts of positions. I feel like as we put down these props, the scale of the room probably isn't quite right for them. Where else could we put a clock? Because again, I'm going to have shelves over there. And then we can't place it on the side of that, can we? Maybe I'll make like a little clock stand for it. Let's just chuck it. Well, let's put it next to that other clock. No, that's not going to go in the room. There's a whole bunch of things here that I got to look around and try, basically. And there's also some that I collected from our live stream the other day. Scales will certainly look good over here. Yep, that'll work on the desk. And behind it over here, we've got to have a phonograph thing. Bam! So you can listen to music. And then we got some sacks here. And I was thinking these are basically like your dies, right? So can we just lie these around on the shop floor? Or should we be placing them behind the scenes? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to mess around with this over and over again and try different things, that's for sure. But there's a few props that are going to help us. I think the next thing to do is to make the shelves at the back, because in here we have some presents which I thought would look really good sitting on the back on the shelves. Slowly and enjoyably slowly, it is all coming together. I put a little mailbox outside here, I thought that was cool. And I've really got an idea for how we're going to use this space over here. We have to demonstrate things that can be used with dies. If you're not familiar with the concept, what we're doing is selling dies and clay. Hope you die. Hope you die with our dies. Oh. So I reckon like a display table in this area with some little blocks that we make out of chisel and bits in different colours would be pretty cool. So that is something I'll do another day. And also my big idea for what I wanted to put over here is going to wait as well, because man, chisel and bits, you've heard every other fool on this server talking about it. It is time consuming, but look at this little area right here. This is mostly DecoCraft. The chisel and bits is like the desk here. Put in a little carpet. Just felt like we needed something to break up the floor. And I wanted to show you something over here. So if I grab the chisel and bit, please be the right... Yes, you're the right one. And I'm going to break that bit there so it's level with this, okay? So there's a connected pane, and I clicked on that and it covered the front. You can do connected material, which is the same thing but for the material. Makes little tricks like that really cool. You know, if you want to play chisel and bits, it's really worth learning all the different ways you can use these things. But most of the time, you don't really know how you're going to learn it until you need it, if that makes sense. And I've learned a lot now. I'm starting to feel a lot more confident with this. I just grabbed myself one of these, a pestle and mortar. And this is how we make our dye from our flowers, by the way. So we're going to be selling this stuff. And what I'm going to do is just take a bunch of that and mix it with some of this, because we need a carpet. That's what we need. Although, what I could do, I could chisel the red wool. I think this gives you some other... Ooh, they're kind of yucky. Oh no, they're probably going to be the same textures when I go like this, aren't they? I should have looked this up in advance. I figured that it would be alright. So I want a carpet in this area back here, and that is not the right kind of colour. This one here is really good. It kind of suggests that this is the counter area, and we got some coins and our cash register, and then over here we've got some scales for weighing stuff. I moved the deco bench over here, so there's like a little work area, and it gives you a sense that things are being made and put on the shelves, and oh, I love it. And over here, oh yeah, look, we've got a little trophy. Check it out, little trophy in the window. I don't know what that is. It's like a... I don't know, like a squirrel man. Something like that. Anyway, right, let's go find ourselves a decent carpet to use. We're going to go with this one. Yoink! There's probably some in my storage system, but I felt like coming down here to grab it. And this thing's backed up, and I think I know why. It's not self-sustaining at the moment, unless something else has happened here. This thing should be out of juice, but it's not. Which means there's another reason... Okay, my theory was wrong. Wait, it made a noise and then... Oh, it did a little bit. Hang on. Hang on, what's going on here? Let's flick the switch again. It's on. I'll come back to that another time. I don't know what's going on there. Let me show you what my theory was for this one. If we go up to the top, over to our base, bam, turn around, go in here, and what was it I wanted to look at? Oh yeah, slimes, that's right. So we type in slime. I don't know why it's backed up. Well, every now and then I come over here basically and I think I know what the problem is. Well, we saw that that block had loads of juice in it. I wouldn't be surprised if this was zapping too much energy from over there. Okay, we need to slow down the rate of this thing. Now that I come to think about it, it was barely producing in excess of 500. So why did I set it so high? Let's set it to about 240. And then the situation over there might... Yeah. Okay, let's wind this project down now. I'm going to dump all of the things from it into this chest. That's why it's here in the middle of the room, and yet probably it needs to move, you know. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. The pace is a little bit slower for what you're probably expecting of me and what I'm used to. But this ain't vanilla, man. This is modded, and we're doing the detailed stuff, and it is turning out fantastic. What a gorgeous shop. Oh man, I simply cannot wait to keep working on it. But I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking, actually, I've got other important things to do, like uploading videos, making thumbnails, and we're going to have to call it there. So over in this area, I've got something planned. And oh yeah, there was one more thing. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing. I've just realised that I've made a massive assumption about this block. When I saw it, I kind of thought that someone had programmed this. Are they all just one emerald? I thought this was a block where you could tell it what you want to sell, and so I figured in that area over there we would. You know, it doesn't even matter. I've been silly. If you guys know of any blocks where you can set up your own custom market, please let me know with a comment down below. And any suggestions for that room, let me know as well. Things are going really great over at the City of Maybe, and over here we're still struggling a little bit with our power situation, but we'll get it all up and running soon. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, leave a like on the video. As always, thank you ever so much for your support. Hi, I'm in your face now, and I will see you in the next episode. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.